And we are live, or shall I say, I am live today. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gemini of Crypto episode 245. Today is Monday, September 10th, and I'm King. Bitcoin Zay is out in DC for those who are at the Black Blockchain Summit. I believe he is on the panel either today or tomorrow, so you can catch him out there. I believe he'll be live streaming a little bit too if he can. So that's what that was going on. Antonio, good morning, good morning. And for those who made it out to the KJLH Men's Empowerment Summit this past weekend, we saw a couple of our crypto warriors out there. So shout out to you all. Malik, thanks for making it. A couple other folks. Pretty good summit, really good panel, and we got a chance to talk crypto for about 45 minutes and an hour. So it was a great time, and hopefully some people learned some things, including ourselves. So Brian Hanley, what's going on? Hello, hello, hello. For the free Satoshis, Bitcoin, they had already picked someone, and I haven't touched base with him, so we're going to skip it for today, but we'll get back to it. Yeah, what's going on, Malik? Hey, thanks for checking in live. Yeah, it was a good time out there. I'm glad you were able to make it. I know you be running around, but appreciate the support. Gabriel Hernandez. There we go. Happy Winklevoss Monday. You already know what the top story is, people. John Siebert. Hello, hello. So let's get into it. It's not a lot of news stories today. A lot of them actually tying together with regulators, as always. This has been the theme of this year. But the top story is Winklevoss brothers launch fiat-backed stablecoin after New York regulators green light. Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss, creators of the cryptocurrency trading platform Gemini, have received permission from New York regulators to launch their own stablecoin, according to a post on Gemini's Medium Monday, September 10th. So they actually put a Medium post out for those who are on Medium and use those articles. The so-called Gemini dollar now has the backing of the New York Department of Financial Services, NYDFS, and the brothers' Medium post describes the coins as being backed by U.S. dollars that are held at a bank located in the United States and eligible for FDIC pass-through deposit insurance, subject to applicable limitations. Of course, FDIC, I believe, is about $250,000 that they usually insure. So we'll see what happens. And, you know, this is big news in the community in general, not only because this is a stable coin. We have a lot of those stable coins out. We got a few out. We got Tether, you know. It's about 2 or 3 new ones that are trying to do ICLs and launch. But Gemini, you know, the Winklevoss twins, they launched their stable coin. And, of course, they had to add to it. Let's see if I can find it in the here it is. The NYDFS green light makes the Gemini dollar the world's first regulated stablecoin to launch, according to the brothers. Although trust company Paxos also announced its own stablecoins regulatory approval today, Monday, as well, making the same claim. So this is why this is scary to me. They're saying this is the world's first regulated stablecoin. And, of course, the NYDFS came out and greenlit it. People, this is literally the banking system happening all over again. If this is the world's first stablecoin or regulated stablecoin, and the NYDFS is also saying that, hey, we greenlight this is okay, then that means it could also become on its way to being too big to fail. That's right. It could be a stablecoin that does take over the market, that does corner the market, that does very well. You know, everybody uses it and all that good stuff. And the day something goes wrong, since it's backed by government regulators, United States taxpayers will be paying that whatever it is. So if it gets hacked and they lose a lot of money because it's still centralized, then guess what? United States taxpayers is backed by the U.S. government now. We will be footing the bill. Same thing if all of a sudden, for whatever reason, they couldn't keep that 1-to-1 mark of $1 equals 1 Gemini USD stablecoin or whatever. That fell down or whatever to 50 cents, 75 cents. Taxpayers will be making up the difference. That is what happens when you have government agencies jumping in to try to regulate it. And it's actually pretty interesting that they're doing this. I'm assuming, of course, we didn't see any promotion of this. They didn't do ICO, anything like that. They just launched it today. But it wouldn't be surprising to me that New York gave them this blessing because they haven't been giving them the ETF. Winklevoss twins were some of the first last year to try to get the ETF back in March when it was rejected, got rejected again since then as well. And of course, you know, Coinbase is talking about launching one, and that's one of the things we called last week. They're saying, hey, we would not be surprised if Coinbase got the first ETF. And if that does happen, regardless if Coinbase gets it or the reasoning for the Winklevoss twins Gemini platform not being able to get it, I truly believe this stablecoin was just one of those backhand deals. It was like, hey, we can't do the ETF for you right now. In fact, Coinbase might get the ETF, but we'll go ahead and give you guys a stablecoin. And with this stablecoin, they're going to make a ton of money because a lot of these new platforms coming out on NASDAQ or with the CME and CBOE futures, they're all using Gemini as their tracker as to which the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum is. So regardless, their stablecoin, you know, they're going to do well. They're going to make a lot of money through that, the institutional side. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if a regulator stepped in and says, since we can't give you everything you asked for, we'll at least settle with this. So good win for them on that front. Yes, Alex Daly, there we go. Bitcoin to the moon. Alex Daly hits the cause on the head. No, this is huge noise. Again, when we talk about the crypto market, we know it's in decline. You know, this has been the worst it's been this year. You know, it's been dropping down all year. But again, it is still double the price at the same time last year. That's something people must internalize. We understand you bought in December, but you know, the price is still double than the time it was almost 12 months ago. And the fact that, again, you have people like the Winklevoss twins creating a stable coin and New York regulators greenlighting it, okaying it, and even allowing them to say this is the world's first regulated one, then that shows that the market is still a baby, people. We haven't got started yet. So John Sieber said Bitcoin dominance is going to the moon for sure. It is. Again, the good thing of a bear market, one of the things we always talk about bear markets or when price dips is that it automatically audits everything. It audits exchanges to see if they've been doing fractional reserve banking. It audits projects to see if it's actually a viable product to want to invest in, because we're seeing a lot of products go down in flames right now. A lot of projects going down in flames because it really wasn't a real project. Maybe might have had a white paper, if that, and it was, you know, it was just holding on to some of that ICO money. But I think that's why Bitcoin dominance is starting to soar, because we're seeing the coins which have actual value, and of course it's Bitcoin. So that's being reflected in the price, or at least the market dominance, excuse me. Next story up, Bitcoin markets volatile after US SEC suspends trading in 2 crypto-based securities. They're always looking for a reason to blame on the price dips or the price runs, whatever. This probably is not it. But again, you never know, and it definitely was a story to note. U.S. regulators banned trading of XBT's providers, Bitcoin and Ether Tracker 1 securities Sunday, September 9th. This article says it sent the cryptocurrency markets tumbling, but anytime the price goes down, they say it's tumbling. They're citing confusion, I quote, confusion among investors. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission issued a notice that 2 exchange-traded notes, ETNs, Bitcoin Tracker 1 CX BTF and Ether Tracker 1 CETHF would cease trading until September 20th. So they actually, they changed the thing in the articles. I know the article actually had it wrong at first. They said that they stopped them, they shut them down. They just suspended trading for 10 days. And the reason why they basically suspended trading is because they're saying that the customers, the end users don't understand the 2 ETNs that are being promoted. They're saying it's 2 ETNs and they have multiple definitions as to what they truly are. You know, without getting into a lot of detail, it's one of those things where it doesn't matter. They're shutting them down because they're doing them, not the U.S. government. I mean, that's really what it is also. But, you know, whether it's an ETN, ETF, a futures contract, or what we'll be discussing next with Citigroup, their DARs now, which is coming out, none of this is trading the actual asset, any actual asset. You're trading imaginary slips of paper, and they're telling you that they actually have your assets. So regardless of what you want to call it, again, ETNs or the ETFs, again, those are for more you know, retail investors on the market, on the major markets. But at the end of the day, you can just buy the underlying asset. You don't need government regulators. You don't need a regulated stable coin, any of that. You just need to go out and get the actual asset. But looks like XBT provider has operated Bitcoin Tracker 1 since May 2015, when it became the first Bitcoin-based ETN available on a regulated exchange, and debuted on Sweden's NASDAQ. So again, this thing has been operating for 3.5 years now, and finally the government is coming in and saying, well, We don't agree with what you guys are doing, so we're going to suspend you. And of course, if you're anything like me and you're wondering how the United States government could suspend a quote-unquote securities on Sweden's NASDAQ, it is because of the of this quote right here, where the SEC basically said, if any broker or dealer enters any quotation which is in violation of the rule, the commission will consider the need for prompt enforcement action. That is the polite PR way of threatening people, all right? That is the PR way for a country to threaten another country or their department. And we just did it. What do you think a United States government prompt enforcement action consists of? Does it consist of letters? Does it consist of sanctions? Or does it consist of military action? Or all three? So that's why they stopped it. They suspended it. You know, the U.S. laid down the law, as they say. And the Swedish markets were like, we want no parts of these problems. You said it's only 10 days. We'll fix it and we'll come back stronger. So we'll see what happens. Sergeant Crypto said he almost lost his stuff today. He got a price alert that Bitcoin dropped to 189. It was actually Ethereum. I was so disappointed. Nice. He was disappointed because he wanted to buy the dip. If it dips that low, I don't see that happening because I know a lot of people with some buy orders in a few $100s below this. They're trying to buy up everything. SJ Smith said derivative markets, they got to be able to fractionally resell. Exactly. And that's where we're going to next with the next story. Sergeant Crypto said, I'll take all the above for one Bitcoin, King. For sure. We already know what time it is. I mean, again, this is it's not just our countries, many countries where I believe this is the frustrating part and the disconnect between the government and the citizens, where you literally have your government threatening another country about an ETN. I mean, at the end of the day, if the ETN confuses you that another country is offering, don't buy it. It is that simple. We don't need SEC intervention. We don't, all this extra stuff, these threats, we don't need any of that. If you're a customer and you're looking at this ETN from Sweden and it's very confusing, you don't understand it, well, you know what, props to Warren Buffett. I know it's crazy, I'm saying this on a crypto show, but he's right in that you invest in what you know. I don't know much about ETNs. I don't invest in them. It's that simple, people. So there's no need for the SEC. But hey, I think the real issue is that they're actually just offering ETN. And the SEC in the United States hasn't really got a lot of those together in the crypto market. That's probably what it is. I mean, honestly. And I say that because Citigroup, next up, Citigroup to let investors trade custodian-held cryptocurrency, sources claim. Again, this is a ridiculous title, not because of the article, but because of what it is. Investors can trade custodian-held cryptocurrency that Citibank's going to hold for you. Again, you don't need a bank or government to hold or do anything with your cryptocurrency. That is the name of the game. It's been the name of the game since day one, and that's to take Bitcoin from people. So I don't know. Let's get into the story. U.S. multinational bank Citigroup is developing a cryptocurrency product to give institutional investors access to crypto markets without owning crypto assets directly, anonymous sources told Business Insider September 9th. So first of all, this is what we talk about as far as the mitigating risk part. Every institutional investor wants to mitigate their risk. How can I have all these 100% plus gains in a month or in a year and not lose any money? Well, you know what? Frankly, it is not possible, people. People keep trying to figure out how to mitigate the risk. It is not possible. Worst case scenario, you just buy and hold. But to expect for there not to be any risk in this market, in a brand new market that we know that's volatile, I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. However, kudos to Citigroup as a business, because that is what you do as a banking business. They play on people's fears, and they're telling people, hey, you know what? You all actually don't have to do anything with the crypto assets. You can give them to us, and you can trade it. You can trade some fake crypto, and we'll actually trade the real stuff for you. Citigroup, which had previously taken a centralized approach to cryptocurrency, will reportedly use a revamped version of the American Depository Receipts, a type of security issued since the 1920s. Again, a type of security issued in the 20s has no business in the same conversation with cryptocurrency. It represents securities of a non-U.S. company to let investors indirectly trade crypto. The end product will be known as a digital asset receipt, DAR, the sources claim. According to people with knowledge of the plans, a DAR works much like an ADR both giving U.S. investors a way to own foreign stocks that don't otherwise trade on U.S. exchanges. So far we've gone, we got central bank digital currencies, which literally just popped up about 4 or 5 months ago. DAR, I expect to see more of this. If this product gets greenlit by the U.S. government regulators, other banks and financial institutions will offer their own DARs as well if they figure out that's the way. That's the key word, the buzzword the government wanted to hear to get all the regulations going for it. You'll see this more often as well. But DARs next, so that's the digital asset receipt. You have your futures, CME, CBOE. Of course, we're trying to do ETFs and then ETN. So you literally have about 6 or 7 different ways to give your money away and not actually own any crypto. People, they are leading you astray. This is the game plan. And I'm guaranteeing with better marketing, they will continue to lead people astray because, again, they're making this sound like a good news story almost. Well, not the story itself. You know, they're reporting facts, but Citibank is making it sound like a good news story. Like, hey, you don't even have to own your crypto. You don't even need to own none of this Bitcoin stuff. Buy it through us and we'll trade it for you. And here's the thing. For those people, and I understand a lot of people don't know a lot about the crypto space, so it might seem like a win. But what happened when the forks come? What happened when we have another Bitcoin Cash, another Bitcoin Gold? You as an investor won't see any of that money because you aren't trading on Bitcoin Gold or Bitcoin Cash. You didn't give that to Citigroup or some of these banks or future settlements. No, you gave them money for them to buy crypto. So when they get these forks, A, they get to keep that money. If they decide to continue to trade that crypto in their possession, which I'm sure they will, they'll either trade it or they'll loan it or they'll figure out a way to make more money of it, fractional reserve banking, you won't see any of that money as well. It's the same thing we see with banks right now with fiat currency. And of course, the grand slam is if they take your money, if they have these digital asset receipts. Let's talk about Citigroup right now since this is their story. If they do have this end product, digital asset receipts, these DARs, people have bought into it. They're giving them all their crypto assets. And the Citigroup on their behalf is doing all the trading, whatever. If they make a bad trade and lose all of the money or 90%, 80% of the money, again, too big to fail. Taxpayers are paying for it twice. A, from the people who actually lost the money, and then B, from the people who are going to make up and bail them out with the fake, funny money, US dollars as well. So again, it's one of those things where we're going right back into doing the same thing we are trying to get away from. Yeah, GOD-TV said, how do you own but don't actually own? Again, the marketing is brilliant. I love it. You can't be mad at them. They're a business. They're offering products even though they make no sense. But if people are going to continue to buy them and believe in the banking structure, then as we say, I mean, they're honestly going to get what they deserve. It's unfortunate, but I guess it takes 2 bailouts to see that. I mean, again, this story just makes no sense though, but I guarantee this DAR will sell and it will be an actual product before we know it. So there it is. Here is a great news story for us. Crypto is a poor form of money for terrorists. Congressional hearing concludes. Yes, that is correct. The United States Congress Subcommittee on Terrorism and Illicit Finance has discussed various methods of terrorism financing with cryptocurrency, according to an official press release on the U.S. House of Representatives Financial Services Committee, September 7th. It looks like in order to monitor threats and methods of terrorist financing, the hearing considered the major means of transferring funds by terrorists, including financial institutions and semi-formal methods such as the Hawala exchange system, something that a lot of people don't talk about. The Hawala exchange system is still huge. That's what most terrorists, quote-unquote terrorists, actually use, as well as cryptocurrency. So it looks like while Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State and other terrorist groups have all attempted to raise funds through crypto, they have not had great success, as Congress concluded in the meeting. Something we've been saying from day one, something that report that came out about earlier this year even said less than 1% of criminals globally use cryptocurrency. But they said the reason why Yahya Fennouzi, Director of Analysis for the Foundation for Defense Democracies. How many acronyms have I said today? I think I'm clocking like 5 or 6 right now. FDD Center on Sanctions and Illicit Finance stressed that most terrorists, especially those that serve on jihadist battlefields, are currently living in environments where crypto is not operable, which means that fiat use is preferable for buying goods. You heard it right. You heard it right. If you're in the battlefield and you're fighting, you're living in tents and stuff, most likely you don't have the cell phone connection, cell phone service, especially you talk about jihadist battlefields, which are normally in the mountainous regions of some of the Middle Eastern countries out there. You don't get cell phone coverage. It's not happening. And right now, the tech isn't there where you can literally just pop out any old phone and be able to connect to satellite and get your cryptocurrency payments going to and from. We're working on it, but it's not there yet. Fanuzi pinpointed fiat money as the most anonymous method for funding, claiming that it is very popular among terrorists. You don't say. And it's pretty interesting. They didn't say which fiat money, but we already know it's the United States dollar, the USD. That's being used by more terrorists worldwide than anyone. The CIA carries USD into the field with them. The military, whether some people know it or not, we have a lot of money, a lot of cash on hand on all deployments. The United States military keeps cash on hand for a plethora of different reasons. I'll just say that. But I mean a lot of money. I'm talking plus $1 million on hand. So again, when you're talking about all these transactions you can't trace and all this cryptocurrency and all, again, the United States Congress subcommittee just came out and said, no, it's still fiat currency. That's the global leader. Cash is king. And they didn't say it, but it's the United States dollar that is the #1. So my question to the U.S. government, to the SEC and Treasury and everyone else who's trying to regulate cryptocurrency is, since it's not crypto that terrorists use, then what are we doing to ban or curtail the United States dollar, since that's apparently what all the criminals around the world use? They don't use cryptocurrency. That's for the good guys out here. I thought that was a pretty interesting story and take on this. Sergeant Crypto said, I bet those U.S. officials didn't like hearing this. They definitely don't like hearing this. And again, this is why even in the story or their report, they don't say the United States dollar. They just say fiat currency. But I mean, come on, really? What other fiat currency is out there worldwide like the United States dollar? The next closest thing is the euro. And we don't use euros in the United States. So that's that. Harold George said Turkey loves them some ISIS oil too. That's pretty funny. Everybody loves that oil from over there. That's why everybody uses it. Gabriel Hernandez said, you mean the same USD that's going back to the new Winklevoss stablecoin? Exactly. We all see the game. It's too funny. Again, it's a pretty interesting thing to watch just from the sidelines, because you really get a chance to see the entire game taking place and how all these stories always connect. Swedish market ETN down one day. Citigroup allowed to have a DAR the next day, as well as the Winklevoss stablecoin. So again, hey, keep fighting. I'm not mad at them. They have to keep fighting. Now, to end on a good note, Los Angeles Dodgers baseball team to hold giveaway of player crypto tokens via Ethereum. This is a pretty cool story. LA representing, of course, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the U.S. professional baseball team, will hold a giveaway of crypto-based athlete tokens at the end of the month. It looks like the tokens will be representing the Dodger players that could be convertible to Ethereum during the game against the San Diego Padres, scheduled September 21st. Shout out to the Padres as well. I used to live in San Diego, and of course, a very friendly military town. As we have many bases there, and the Padres always do a lot of stuff with the military. So shout out to them, and shout out to LA Dodgers. I mean, way to be tech focused forward. Again, we know it's marketing, but the fact that you're actually bringing it to fruition, that is a good thing. That's how you do mass adoption. What's a better way than do mass adoption than have a baseball stadium full of people and to give out these token cards and then have them being able to transfer it directly to Ethereum. And if they have one of these apps, they might be able to transfer it directly to cash and into their bank. During the so-called digital bobblehead night game, that's an interesting name. I like it. Digital bobblehead night. Excuse me. Guests will be able to download tokens of such athletes as pitcher Clayton Kershaw, third baseman Justin Turner, and Curacao pitcher Kenley Jansen. And it's going to be about the first 40,000 ticketed fans in attendance reportedly set to receive a card with a unique code that can be unblocked and transferred to an Ethereum wallet. That's pretty cool. Again, this is how you do mass adoption. This is it. It's not, and this is how you teach people about crypto too. It's not from trying to regulate things to death. It's from taking common things that we already do and just adding it. Now, I'm pretty sure whatever the amount of Ethereum on that card is going to be very low. I mean, more than likely less than $1 or something. But you know, again, it just shows them the power of cryptocurrency, how quick these transactions can happen. Again, this will be a very interesting thing to see if the price of Ethereum shoots up and how the government's going to feel about this. You know, if the price of Ethereum does go up and it becomes a main attraction again by September 21st, more likely it won't. But, you know, if it does, or even past it, let's say it really goes off the roof the next year, and sometime Q1, Q2 next year, you know, U.S. regulators and the IRS is saying, hey, for all those people who got tickets and got these player tokens for this one Ethereum or this point whatever Ethereum, well, that's worth a lot of money now. We need to make sure you filled out your taxes and said the San Diego Padres and the LA Dodgers gave you this. So that would be interesting to see, but it's pretty cool that they're doing that. Other than that, is a slow news day. Let's see, for the free Satoshis today, what are we going to do for the free Satoshis? Let's see. I don't know. Give us your thoughts on the Winklevoss fiat-backed stablecoin. What's your thoughts? I mean, it could be a couple of sentences, but just let us know how you feel about it. Is it going to work? Will people use it? Is it okay that the New York regulators backed it, basically? What does this mean for U.S. taxpayers? I don't know. Just give us your thoughts on the stablecoin from the Winklevoss twins, and leave your public address in the comment section, and we'll be sure to send those free Satoshis. Other than that, again, Bitcoin Day is at the Black Bitcoin Summit in Washington, D.C. A lot of good folks there. I know Max Kaiser will actually be speaking there as well, so I'm hoping he grabbed the interview with him. And other than that, you can find us at Real CryptoCon October 31st, November 2nd. And we will be off tomorrow as well. Bitcoin Day, of course, be in DC. I'll be running around on business. So hoping one of us will be back Wednesday morning, but we will keep you updated via social media. Other than that, have a great day, people, and we will see you all soon. Cheers.